Is it possible to increase your revenue by spending less on ads? Well, today I'm going to be going through exactly how we've done this for a brand that came to us after working with another agency, and they just weren't getting the results that they needed. They were just burning through ad spend. It wasn't efficient. They were having smaller and smaller revenue months. Things just weren't really going well. And so they onboarded with us. And in the first month, we've reduced the ad spend by like 40%. And we've increased the revenue by about 180%. I think it's like 179% or something like that. So it is absolutely possible. And I'm going to run you through the live ad account to show you exactly how we've done that, the structure that we used, which we use on quite a lot of accounts, to be fair. Obviously, every account kind of has a different mechanism, kind of has like a different way of doing things. But this is one that we've found works quite well, especially when it comes to scaling. So we're in a good position to be able to scale with this account now. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to show you how you can make about 5% of your impressions a lot more efficient. There is something that Meta is doing recently because of all the new AI stuff and all these new updates where it's literally using 5% of your impressions to do new random tests. And so that's just not a good thing, right? You don't want to have Meta doing random tests that you'd have no control over and that aren't guaranteed to get results, with your budget and with your impressions. So I'm going to show you how to turn that off. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Lewin. I've profitably generated over $40 million in online sales for Shopify stores. Personally made 7 figures as a result of doing so. Not saying that to brag or to gloat or anything, just purely so that you know that I'm somewhat qualified to speak about this topic, and that I actually kind of know what I'm talking about, I guess. So let's jump into the ad account, and let's do a live walkthrough of the results, the structure, and exactly how we've managed to reduce the ad spend whilst increasing the revenue. So here is the ad account. Let me just very quickly refresh that, and I'll pull out the amount spent so you can see the comparison. So this month compared to last month, we have spent 42% less on the account, which is just insane if you think about it. And if we go over to the account, you can see we've actually increased the sales by 172%, and it is climbing. It's becoming more consistent. The conversion rate is up 220%, orders up 135%, but from less traffic. So how have we done that exactly? Now, it's a very simple process that we've done. It's a very sort of like, it's more of a tidy up job, more of a cleaning up job from what the other company was doing, or the other person that was managing the account. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with like lifetime budgets and CBO prospecting campaigns that didn't have any exclusions. So it wasn't really a prospecting campaign. There was still spend going on to existing customers and engaged customers. I don't want to rip too much from what they were doing, but it just wasn't efficient, and it wasn't a clear structure, which then would allow them to be able to feed, continuously feed new content in and be able to scale the budgets vertically. So we've opted for a ABO for a top of funnel campaign, which allows us to split up the ad sets by country, sort of demographic, as well as collection. So initially, as we went through the Shopify, like the back end data, we noticed that this year the US has the best conversion rate. So we straight away just split out a lot of other countries into different ad sets, and we focused on the US. Now, this did generate a sale, but it wasn't profitable. Let me just get rid of the comparison so that you can see. It was like 0.6x ROAS, didn't do too well. So what we did is we mixed them all together with a bunch of other countries that we found also had a strong conversion rate, not as strong as the US, but still had a decent conversion rate. The reason why there was a lot of different kind of countries in there that could be narrowed down into is because the previous company was running worldwide, and then just excluding a couple of countries. So they were targeting places like Colombia and Brazil, which was just a real waste of ad spend. But in them doing that, we noticed there was some places like Kuwait and the UAE and Hong Kong that were getting some fairly good conversion rates, and so we've been able to narrow down on those. And as you can see, the ROAS numbers so far are really solid on those. So we have an ad set that's obviously going out to all of these countries. I'll show you the settings on these. It's very simple. It's just a clear exclusion of purchase 180 days. So anyone that's purchased in the last 6 months is being excluded from there. 18 to 44 women, and the inclusions are those countries that we have found have high conversion rates across the store. Very simple. I mean, that is literally it. There's no interest targeting or anything like that. No placement editing or anything like that. Still advantage placements, but with just a good mix of different content types. We have lots of reels, we have carousels, we have single images, and it's very clear that there is 3 ads here that are doing most of the heavy lifting. And when we see what Facebook is spending the most budget on, we can see it is the ones that are doing the best, which is obviously great to see that Facebook is putting the spend into the ones that are generating the most profit. Recently, the brand did a new collection, so we put that into a new ABO ad set in there. It's called Isla's Garden. And so we put all the new content into here, and that is just doing some ridiculous numbers. Like this one's like 58.6 ROAS, 58.9 ROAS. It seems to be doing really well, and so that can scale. Just ignore the fact that this is in Indonesian Raider and individual. I don't know what the currency is. It's the Indonesian currency. So we just have to do the conversion, like calculation of that, the exchange rate, to make sure that it matches up with the dollar budget amount. So just ignore that it's like a crate, like 500,000 a day is actually like less than $50. So that is how the ABO is set up. It's really simple setup. We then have a top of funnel catalog, and that is split into the different collections. So we've just made sure that each collection has its own product set in the catalog. Now the results on this aren't quite as good. We've only recently launched these top 2 ones. They all got 1 purchase. Like this is just all products. And now what it's really good to do from here is to go on to the breakdown, go down to delivery, and go down to product ID, sort it by amount spent, and then you can see the product that Facebook is spending the most money on, and you can obviously see the cost per click and the interaction rate on these products, so that you can basically see like what is working best in terms of click-through rate, what people are interacting with the post most, what people are wanting. And so you can use this catalog campaign, this catalog data of how it's being delivered to people and how they're reacting to that particular product, to then fuel the feedback, and then how you're going to then put content into the main sort of top of funnel and middle of funnel campaigns, or ASC if you have it, or CBO, or whatever. You can then obviously feed back to the client or whoever is responsible for getting the content. You can say, look, it'd be good if we could get some content surrounding this product. It seems to be working quite well, but there's currently not much exposure to it. There isn't much visuals around it other than just the product, like website images. And so you can then find winners, like find winning products from how your catalog is delivering to people at top of funnel. So always really important to set that up. Sometimes it might not be the most profitable as soon as you set it up, but nonetheless, very important part of the funnel. And again, these 2 haven't really been running for that long. We've just got them set up. They're starting to get some traction. They're starting to give us some good data about which products in each collection are starting to work well, which then we can obviously feed back and get content based around that. And then we just have a very simple middle of funnel. This brand has a strong Instagram account, so we wanted to make sure that we are hitting people that have interacted with the brand in the last year. Want to make sure that that audience is nice and juicy. It says 3,000 here, but that's just nonsense, because I mean they've got like over 50,000 followers on Instagram. So they have a really strong presence there. So we want to make sure that we are hitting people, because they had a good year last year, but this year things have died off. And I think it was just a bit of neglect from the person running the account this year. And so we're trying to revive that. And as you can see, the ROAS is like 9.6 on this campaign so far. A good spread of different types of creatives getting exposure. And as you can see, guys, like we've got 10 ads live here in this campaign. In the ABO, in each ad set, like 9 ads active in there. In the mix, we've got like 9 ads active in there. Like we've got like 30 ads running plus the catalog ads. So we're getting so much exposure to these different collections and to these different products with the different links and stuff, so that we can really understand what's working, and then we can double down and push and scale budget into the places that we know are getting the best conversion rates and the best results. We're not just going to be guessing, okay? We're casting a broad net, we're pumping content in there, and then we're going to be able to double down and really scale aggressively based on how it's going. Because obviously right now, in terms of testing, it seems to be going pretty well. And I think this was one of the issues with the previous agency, is they just weren't utilizing all the content. They weren't utilizing all the products and all the collections. It's a fashion brand, and some product might be received differently to another one. Another piece of content might be received differently to another one. And so you have to have a really, really strong variety. And now the budget is relatively low, but we've got like 30 plus individual different ads running across carousels, single images, catalogs, and also videos. It's really, really important to make sure you have that volume and that you feed that volume into your ad account so that it can learn and so that it can use all the different data points that it has on people of their preferences to see what they're going to respond to best. Some people might respond to a skirt, some people might respond to a top, some people might respond to a dress. And so as long as you have that active in your ad account across all of your different campaigns or your different like stage of the funnel, then it doesn't matter what somebody is looking for at what time, you are going to have the solution for that. Obviously, this is a fashion product. I know that can be a little bit different if you're like a one product store. What I would say in terms of having diversity and variety and volume in just a one product store would be making sure you have a lot of different like range of content in terms of like your carousels, your videos, your images, your different demographics in the videos, and you can really pump volume in different varieties just surrounding one product in the same way that you can essentially with fashion. And so yeah, this is obviously why we've managed to reduce the spend, but be able to increase the sales by like 170%. And we're on track now to probably in like a day beat last month's total, like 13 days into the month, which is obviously really solid, hit the ground running, and we should be able to scale and get this brand back up to where it needs to be. And honestly, like the amount of times that we have sort of come into an account that is, I don't want to say being wrecked or being destroyed by another company, but or just like an agency maybe neglecting it or not doing the right things, or some of the practices that we see when we go into some ad accounts are just absolutely criminal. It just like, it really grinds my gears that people are getting paid to do these kind of things, and to like the process, the structure that they have, and like the captions, they're just so offbeat, they're just so off brand for the way that the founder, or just like the vision of the brand is supposed to be put out there. And like there's just a huge disconnect between what the founder wants and then what the customers are seeing. That's evident in the results. It's evident in the ROI. And it's evident in the inability to be able to scale and put more money into the ad account. So a lot of the time when we come into an account like this, it's just a tidying up job. Just simplify it. Just have a top of funnel ABO, have a bunch of different ads with different varieties, see what sticks, gather your data with your catalog in terms of like putting different products out there in different product sets to different countries, different audiences, and then see how people are reacting to it. Then use that to fuel your top of funnel content. Have a middle of funnel that is also different, that goes a little bit more in depth to the top of funnel stuff because they're obviously interested. And then just run it for a couple of weeks and see what happens, and then double down on that. And it's just a continuous process of doing that. Very, very, very simple stuff. And so now I just want to run through with you exactly how you can essentially make your impressions more efficient because of what Meta are doing. They've, again, they're implementing so many AI tests, and they're saying that in the future AI will do all of your ads and you won't need to put any content in there. We'll just do it. And it's like, we are so far off that. Like, half of my job, honestly, I spend so much time when I'm duplicating ads and when I'm making new ads and going through the process. I spend so much time clicking the buttons to turn off these stupid enhancements of like this silly music, enhanced CTA, where it's like got these AI suggestions for the call to action button. Just so many needless stuff, and it's getting to a point where you turn them all off and then you publish it, and then you go back into it and they've been turned back on, and it's like affecting the results in a negative way. And it doesn't represent the brand how you want it to be represented. It's this like cheesy AI kind of like caption or suggestion, and it just doesn't fit the vibe and the branding for a lot of the companies that we work with, and it's just a constant battle. So there's manually turning them off in the actual ads where you just untick the enhancements, but then there is also another sneaky thing that they're doing where, without you even knowing, they're delivering your ads with these enhancements, even if you've got them turned off. And so I'll show you how to do that here. So you want to come into advertising settings. You want to come down to Advantage Plus Creative, click into that, and you want to make sure that this is turned off. Test new enhancements. We may show fewer than 5% of your ad impressions with new enhancements. This is obviously not what you want to be doing. You don't want to give Meta control for these enhancements and the way that your ads are delivered in terms of the visuals of it and the aesthetics of it, where you don't know if it's going to work or not. You need to do your tests, understand what works, and then run with that. You don't want to have this like little thing that you have no control over or no understanding of. It's just Meta like doing something with your budget and your impressions in the background. Like, that is an absolute no. And so also after that, you want to come down to test new AI generation features, click edit, and you want to untick all of these. So this is going to take like stuff from the comments and put it into like the headline. It might be useful, but you've got no control over this, okay? Like, don't get me wrong, AI is getting very, very smart. The algorithm is very, very smart, but you have no control over this. Like, you can choose what headline options you have based on the reviews that you have on your website or Trustpilot or things in the comments where you can choose them, because it might get something wrong and you don't know about it. Again, creative call to action sticker. I mean, what is that? Like, you don't want to have some like Android-y like looking sticker on top of your call to action button. Again, image animation, like expansion as well, that might be effective, but you can just do that anyway, like in post. Like, you can just do that by editing it, or if you want to do that, you can do it, but you don't have to have the option for Meta to like automatically do it with some product that it doesn't really work for. Same with background generations. Like, we make the content, we edit the content, like, we don't need Meta to do that for us and get it wrong potentially. And again, music generation, like, you just want to get all of these off and just put yourself in control, and don't let your budget be wasted by that. It's a constant battle. You're definitely not alone if you're feeling frustrated by all these new AI enhancements, because it is a real battle. So if you found this video helpful, drop a comment, drop a sub. It's much appreciated. Hopefully you got value from it, and hopefully it was interesting to see sort of behind the scenes of how we sort of first took on a new account that had been in decline, managed to decrease the spend and also increase the revenue at the same time. In doing so, increasing the profitability, getting more cash into the brand owner's bank to be able to scale further and get the brand back on track. And now I just want to mention as well, I do have a community, like a little group. It's not like a school like you don't have to go to a school group or a Discord server or anything like that. It's just a WhatsApp group of people that are building online, entrepreneurs, and things like that. Nothing formal, nothing crazy, nothing inauthentic, for things that you're going to sort of see on LinkedIn, right? It's a very, very informal, off the record type chat. where you can just ask anything about business. If you are a business owner and you maybe, you want to have some information about tax, about hiring, or about just bouncing some ideas off somebody, I think a network is very, very important. So I'll leave a link to that in the description, or head over to my Instagram and just drop me a message about it. It is a very private community. We're not trying to open it up to the masses. Obviously not any old bum can join it. We want to make sure that it is decent people, people that aren't too cool to take their sunglasses off inside, or people that sort of view a Lamborghini as a metric for success. It is real, down-to-earth people that will be sort of discussing the type of things that you won't necessarily see on LinkedIn, and it's not just surface level chat. So drop me a message on Instagram about that if you want some more details, and I will catch you in the next one.